Check. Tuwapigeni band makofi tafadhali, one more time. Tafadhali band, one more song kindly. Check, check sound. 2, 3, 4 sound. Check.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause to our band. Let me say this one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause to a wonderful band, please. Thank you. We are about to receive His Excellency the President. He's here with us. So let me just try to repeat what I said. Let's manage our phones kindly. Our phones on vibration. Let us you can put them on silent. Then for us who are not having official caps or caps for that matter, please remove them because this is a state celebration. So I'm inviting all of us to be calm, to be relaxed, as we wait for His Excellency to make his way into the auditorium. Meanwhile, our band, please. Give us a good rendition as we wait for the arrival of His Excellency. Our band, please. Rispa.
Check. Wait, two.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause to our band, please. You know, Ben have been told if the audience claps more, you play another number. So, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause to our band, please. You have no other ways but to play for us another number. Just the last one, as we receive His Excellency. Thank you. That one. Sound engineer, give us some music. Sound engineer. Thank you. Yeah, that one, please. Wait, what? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all be upstanding for His Excellency, the President. Haya, tumkaribishe kwa makofi moja. Your Excellency, karibu. Welcome, Your Excellency, in this celebration of innovators. Thank you. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Your Excellency. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem and the East African anthem. remain standing as RESPA Lumidi leaders in the opening.
With all respect to our various religions and beliefs, as Catholic. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Lord, we thank you for our beloved country, Kenya. May peace, love, and unity continue to prevail amongst us and within our borders. We thank you for our President, his leadership, and all authorities under him. May your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with them. Thank you for the activities of the day and especially the Kenya Innovation Week. May it grow to be the heart of our economic systems. Lord, hear us. Lord, graciously hear us. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Your Excellency, Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, Cabinet Secretary is present, the Secretary General, Commonwealth Secretariat, Right Honorable Patricia Scotland, Chief Scientific Advisor, Research and Evidence Directorate, Professor Charlotte Watts, Excellency Ambassadors and High Commissioners, CEO, Kenya National Innovation Agency, valued partners, stakeholders in the ICT industry, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, with the gracious permission, allow me to invite my colleague, Chief Kizi, to come and lead us in the first presentation. With your permission, Your Excellency, sir.
Thank you. Asante Wafula. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly put your hands together for yourselves for being here today. Your Excellency, we honestly thank you for giving us 1 week to celebrate innovation. And I would kindly request all of you to appreciate our president for giving our great minds a whole week, not a day, a whole week to discuss innovation. Thank you, sir. With your gracious permission, Your Excellency, permit me to invite Professor Tom Miguna Ogada to make his welcoming remarks. Karibu, sir.
Our guest of honor, the Excellency President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Cabinet Secretaries present, Members of Parliament present, our development partners, our guests from outside, all the stakeholders of the Kenya innovation ecosystem, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me this afternoon to take this opportunity on behalf of the board and the staff of the Kenya National Innovation Agency and the stakeholders of the innovation sectors to sincerely welcome all of you to the Kenya Innovation Week 2020. Your Excellency, we are extremely thrilled and grateful to you. We are extremely thrilled and grateful to you, Your Excellency, for creating time to come and grace this second edition of the Kenya Innovation Week. This is a clear testimony to the stakeholders of the commitment in promoting the use of innovation as a catalyst for sustainable development of our beloved country. This second edition of the Kenya Innovation Week comes shortly after a successful completion of Friday last week of the second Commercialization and Entrepreneurial Institutions Leadership Summit, which brought together over 200 key stakeholders from universities and research organizations, of which was attended by over 40 vice chancellors. The summit explored several issues on enhancing the use of existing technologies and innovations developed by our universities and research organizations to address development challenges that our country is today facing. The Kenya Innovation Week 2020, whose theme is to connect, innovate, and inspire, provides a forum to share experiences and take stock of progress that is being made in strengthening the Kenya innovation ecosystem and tap on the opportunities that are emerging locally, regionally, and internationally. Your Excellency, we are extremely delighted that in 2013, Parliament enacted the Science, Technology and Innovation Act that provided for establishment of 3 agencies that manage science, technology and innovation in this country. That is the National Commission for Science, Technology and Innovation that is responsible for STI policy and national research priorities, the National Research Fund, which is responsible for funding research and development in the identified priority sectors, and the Kenya National Innovation Agency, which is responsible for developing and strengthening the Kenya innovation ecosystem. Your Excellency, we are delighted to report today that all these 3 agencies have been established and are functional and have therefore placed Kenya at the lead of the sub-Saharan African region in terms of institutional framework for the management of science, technology, and innovation. Indeed, the last 5 years, the Global Innovation Index has consistently placed Kenya among the top 5 in the region. Building on this impressive performance regionally, we, the members of the board of the Kenya Innovation Agency, are determined to significantly contribute to the growth of the Kenya innovation ecosystem and push Kenya to join the global innovation leaders. I'm pleased to report, Your Excellency, that we are finalizing our second strategic plan, which we are aligning with your government manifesto. We aim to enhance the use of science, technology, and innovation to create jobs, particularly for the youth, increase productivity and competitiveness of agricultural and manufacturing sectors, and address the impact of climate change, which Your Excellency, you are very keen on. We plan to achieve this through this aspiration by strengthening technology transfer and commercialization of innovations from our universities and research organizations, particularly in the sectors that have been prioritized by the government, and also by strengthening the coordination and management of innovation hubs, including business incubators, to enhance their capacities and effectiveness to support the rapidly growing startups in this country. And finally, Your Excellency, we as the board of Kenya, we are extremely committed to work with all the stakeholders, government agencies, and development partners to contribute towards the realization of the government agenda through harnessing science, technology, and innovation. And with that, I thank you very much, all of you, and we say big thank you for gracing this occasion today. Thank you.
One more time, a round of applause for Your Excellency. Allow me to invite our moderator, Cherian Chebet, to lead us to the panel discussion. Karibu Cherian. Makofi jameni ya Terian.
Your Excellency, President Dr. Ruto, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Now, the UNDP recently supported mapping of the Kenyan innovation ecosystem across 47 counties, which provides a deep dive into the Kenyan startup ecosystem. And I'd like to share some of the data with you. 90% of the innovators have a science background training, yet only 16% graduate in STEM subjects. Over 60% of the startups are early stage, yet VC funds target late stage startups. And about 70% of the innovators are between 26 and 45, with a bigger proportion aged between 36 and 45. That is not youth. The average age of successful startup founders is 45, yet those under 40 run more than 40% of all the startups. This session this afternoon will lay ground for a 10-year master plan, as well as the launch of the Kenya Innovation Outlook 2022. And I would like to invite my panelists up on stage. Deputy Resident Representative UNDP Kenya, Mandisa Mashologo, please come and join us on stage. Karibu sana, let's give a warm round of applause. The UK High Commissioner to Kenya, Ms. Jane Marriott. Asante sana, please join us on stage. The CEO of the Kenya National Innovation Agency, Dr. Tony Mwansa, karibu. And Your Excellency, Dr. William Samuel Ruto, please come and join us on stage. All right, we'll try to keep this as succinct as possible. So I'll start with you, Dr. Omwansa. Just a quick look into the Kenya Innovation Outlook. What are its objectives and aspirations?
Thanks very much, Lilian, and to all the guests and our excellencies. The National Innovation Agency was set up to try and develop and manage the national innovation system. Now, you can't manage something you can't track very well. You can't progress if you can't quantify the milestones that you need. So what we set up to do this year is to lay the foundation. So the agency has been in operation for about 2 years. So last year we set the Innovation Week, and on the second time, so this year we did the baseline of the National Innovation System. National system, you're thinking about the private sector, the academia, the research institution, the youth, policies, the national innovation funding, and so forth. So what is coming out of this is, one, demystify innovation. If I were to ask right now, how many of us think you're an innovator? Your Excellency, this is how much I struggle. Everyone is an innovator. So we wanted to elaborate, demystify innovation. You can create value, right? And that's number one. The second is to demonstrate where we are as a country and lay the foundation of what is the 10-year National Innovation Master Plan. And we'll talk about it in a little while.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mwansa. Let's give him a warm round of applause. I'll come to you now, Ambassador Marriott. The UK has been at the forefront of innovation-led growth for centuries, as evidenced in the first industrial revolution. Today, we talk about the fourth industrial revolution, and the United Kingdom's most recent innovation strategy is titled Leading the Future by Creating It. It identifies 4 pillars, and perhaps you can tell us a little bit about that and what insights that Kenya could draw from the UK's innovation approach.
Thank you. First of all, I just want to say how excited I am to be here for 2 reasons. One, because there is no better place to be in the world right now, not possibly the UK, I have to say that as a UK Balozi, to be at the forefront of science, tech and innovation than Kenya. And secondly, because Kenya's approach to tech, and Your Excellency, is very much at your heart and your agenda here, is because science, tech and innovation is for everybody. It's not an elite sport. It's about how you bring and transform a country and a world together so that everybody benefits from equity and I. And I'm delighted that the UK has had over a 30-year partnership in this regard, whether we're talking about the collaboration between Kemry and Wellcome Trust, and the innovative stats and leaders that HE, Your Excellency, saw just now outside, or the fact that we have funded, so this innovation strategy that we're launching today brings together 3 different reports, one of which has been supported by the UN, 2 of which have been supported by the UK, and I'm delighted that we're going to be able to work together in the year action plan to help Kenya get even further ahead of competition on innovation.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate her with a round of applause. Mandisa, I'll come to you now. The UNDP recently supported the mapping of Kenya's innovation ecosystem. I've shared some of the data in my intro, which provides a deep dive into Kenya's startup ecosystem space. Perhaps you can just share with us some of your observations from that mapping.
And I think a critical issue for all of us is addressing the youth unemployment in the country. So getting that statistics that shows that as much as we're saying Kenya is the heart of innovation, we really need to make sure the youth have the support to be able to get there in terms of employability, so impacting on sustainable development goals. So really our priority is to make sure that better engaged in innovation. You can also see from the mapping that 46% of the incubation centers are in Nairobi. Mapping. So we want to make sure that we are getting these services out to the counties, the support, the technical capacity development. That's why we think it's so important having partnered with Kenya to also have this outlook report that helps us to monitor progress on an annual basis from now on.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mandisa. Your Excellency, sir, I'll come to you now. As Chief Kizi has just mentioned, your administration brought a new shift in the way we celebrate Jamhuri Day. We're kicking off Jamhuri Day celebrations with a week-long innovation week. Perhaps you can just tell us what is informing this new thought process and what we should be expecting going forward.
This is not just about the innovation week. It's about the whole of government, whole of society approach to doing things differently and recognizing the advantages that we have in the digital space or the technology space. Three things. When we went around Kenya to ask the people of Kenya what their priorities were, many young people across this nation wanted access to the internet. They saw an opportunity in the digital space. And that is why we are going to invest 40 billion Kenya shillings to roll out 100,000 kilometers of new fiber so that we can cause internet to be in 26,000 markets and ensure that every home that is connected to electricity is also connected to internet. And we have 8.5 million homes. That is to respond to what young people told us across Kenya. Secondly, is to leverage on technology to deal with the challenge of our time, deal with the challenge of unemployment as we see the obvious opportunity there is to get jobs, to get more young people access the internet, use their talent, knowledge, and expertise to create the future, as has been said, and to innovate, to give us new startup companies, give the ideas. I have gone through the exhibition here, and it is amazing to see the kind of innovation that young people are fashioning and tackling challenges of our time using technology. And much more importantly, we have focused our Jamhuri Day, our Independence Day, because it's an important national day, and we want to profile it as an innovation Jamhuri, because really that is the space that makes sense. The majority of Kenyans at this point in time, innovation, technology, internet connectivity, digital economy, that's the space that makes sense to the majority of Kenyans, 70% of them who are. And in conclusion, say that beyond celebrations we are building the infrastructure, and so that we can scale up startups, we can support startups. So, in the statistics, many of them are still in the formative stages. We are going to have a startup bill taken to Parliament this January, so that we can have a startup fund that will support innovation, that will de-risk our young people who are working on their innovation, so that there is a fund that we can leverage on, work with other partners to ensure that there is sufficient resources for young people to take a risk on the ideas they have, on the innovations they have, and so that we can use the startup fund to be able to make those innovations a reality, scale them up, and make them full-blown businesses.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We know you have to rush somewhere else as part of the celebration, so we'd like to thank you for making time. I'll hand it over very quickly to CEO Dr. Omwansa for the launch of the Kenya Innovation Outlook Report, very quickly, and then we'll close the panel.
So like I did say, what we can't measure, we really can't determine the progress of it. So as a national innovation agency, consistently on an annual basis, we'll be releasing a national innovation outlook. Try to gather as much data as possible about the progress we're making. And fund, for example, is a classic example. How does that translate to a better society? So I will invite the head of state. We hope that by June in the new year, we will design the 10-year master plan that we would want the head of state to launch, that will support the cross-ministerial thinking about where we want to be 10 years down the road. And unless you set a clear target that is capital strength, you don't achieve as much. So I'm inviting you for that opportunity. For now, I'd like to invite the cabinet secretary and the PS we rise up and take a photo of Kenya National Innovation Outlook 2022.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause. Thank you. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as he makes his way with the panelists. Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, today marks the beginning of a new look of Jamhuri Day celebrations, and we want to thank you for gracing this occasion. Your Excellency, with the gracious permission, allow me now to invite Honorable Ababu Namamba, this year's Youth Affairs, Sports and Arts, to take us through the remaining part of the program. Yes.
Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Cabinet Secretaries, present here, the Principal Secretary for Youth Affairs, Mr. Made, ambassadors, High Commissioner, my very good friend, Balozi, Jen Marriott, board chairpersons and members, the CEO of the Kenya National Innovation Agency, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to join you here at the Kenya National Innovation Week, which is hosted
by the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Sports and the Arts through the Kenya Innovation Agency, Kenya. This Innovation Week serves as a build-up to Jamhuri Day, whose theme is centered on tech and innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, I also take this opportunity to welcome our chief guest, His Excellency the President, and other distinguished guests from across the globe who have joined us here today. And I particularly want to acknowledge the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Patricia Scotland, who was with us here at the opening of this forum. This is a true testament of the importance of innovation at the heart of global partnerships. If we are to achieve Goal 9 of the SDGs, which seeks to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation, then we will unleash the dynamic and competitive economic forces that generate employment and income. Your Excellency, this year's theme of the Innovation Week, connecting innovations locally. You know, when I first saw this word, Your Excellency, I thought someone had made a typographical error. But then I was educated that is an innovative way of connecting local and global. So it's globally. This aims to recognize innovations by young people, researchers, and startups locally and internationally. This is in line with the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto, Your Excellency, which commits to advancing innovation in Kenya. And as you have correctly said, we roamed across the length and breadth of the Republic. We listened to the people, and it was so clear that there is an innovation angle to every aspect of the economy, to every aspect of development. There is an innovation angle to agriculture. There's an innovation angle to healthcare. There's an innovation angle to sports. Every aspect of our life has an innovation angle, and we are unleashing the full potential, the full extent of that. Your Excellency, we are also announcing a collaboration between the Kenya National Innovation Agency and Huawei Technologies, Kenya Company Limited. And we do hope that when this collaborative framework is concluded, it will be able to drive innovative 5G and advanced connectivity solutions between Kenya and Huawei Technologies Kenya. And as the CEO indicated, once that is ready, Your Excellency, we will properly brief you and walk the journey together with us to Kenya. Let me also announce that we have made a decision, Your Excellency, as a ministry and as Kenya, to bid to host the 2023 Commonwealth Innovation Week. And so we are looking forward to bringing to Nairobi innovators across the 56 members of the Commonwealth from across the globe. It is now my singular honor, privilege, and pleasure to invite the President of the Republic to address us. Your Excellency, sir.
Thank you very much, Ababu. Please, let's take our seats. Thank you very much. Sorry. Your Excellency, British High Commissioner, my friend Jane Margaret, distinguished ministers present, innovators, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good evening. Is it evening or afternoon? 1 minute. thing is almost dying of power. Just hold on 1 minute. Yeah, it's okay. Okay. So, good. Thank you very much. I am truly, truly happy having gone through what I saw in the exhibition. I'm honored to be part of this very timely event of tremendous importance for our country's journey to economic transformation, industrialization, and competitive productivity. The pursuit of shared prosperity and the enhanced well-being of our people requires us to urgently devise strategies that meet the urgency of our time. Such strategies will maximize the return on each factor of production, propel our economy into new domains of high productivity, and accelerate economic growth into exponential rates. To meet the urgent demand of our time, therefore, we must do things better. We must do all things in new ways and also pursue new things. This calls for a new mindset, stronger focus, greater dedication, and readiness to embrace a new operational paradigm. This is the essence of innovation. The stewardship of every sphere of human endeavor, every sector of our economic activity requires innovation to navigate beyond the waters of stagnation and inertia into the exciting frontiers of discovery and abundance. Although innovation is frequently associated with rapid advances in the high-tech sector that have transformed how we live, it extends into every quest to do more, to go further, and to rise higher. The government of Kenya is mandated to achieve the socio-economic transformation of our country. We have pledged to invest in agricultural transformation, promote micro and small and even medium enterprises, stimulate the expansion of housing, deliver universal health care, and galvanize the digital and creative economy. These mandates must be delivered in the context of tremendous economic challenges and severe resource limitations. Continuous innovation is therefore required to keep us alert to novel opportunities. I am neither complaining nor am I lamenting. I have set out this background to demonstrate the centrality of a robust appreciation of the innovative imperative for transformational growth in our time. In fact, our government is testimony of the power of innovation, even in political mobilization and campaign strategy. The bottom-up economic model for the transformation of our country and the hustler nation approach to electoral mobilization are radical innovations of political strategy and democratic participation. They also constitute the core of our socio-economic transformation agenda, guiding the quest for shared prosperity. It is in this spirit that I have been greatly inspired to see the innovative concepts and creations exhibited in this expo. I look forward to visiting more displays at the KICC later this week. I believe that by embracing innovation, we can reimagine and overhaul our economy into a modern, high-tech, one serviced by highly skilled citizens who enjoy a high quality of life. It is my contention that innovation brings us closer to sustainable development goals and our Vision 2030 by catalyzing productivity, increasing high-quality jobs, reducing unemployment, and also creating wealth. The government is therefore committed to mainstreaming innovation into a way of life in the public as well as private sectors. We will therefore be seeing more, not less, forums, platforms, and events like this, as well as other avenues to recognize innovation by young people, promote startups locally and internationally, strengthen research, commercialize innovations, and enhance the uptake of emerging technologies. To further underscore the critical importance of innovation, I would like to share with you my intentions to sustain this week's focus so that it culminates in the celebration of our national holiday, Jamhuri. The Ministry of Youth Affairs and the Kenyan National Innovation Agency have therefore set a brilliant pace for our broader agenda and celebration of Jamhuri. The stage is now set for the steadfast entrenchment of a culture of innovation throughout government in feasible, effective, and measurable ways. It is time for every ministry to domesticate a strategy for continuous innovation. Beyond national activity, government intends to elevate this forum into an international innovation festival, which attracts global participants to facilitate exponential enhancement of Kenya's capacity for transformative innovation. The partnership among various stakeholders, which has made this event possible, strongly indicates the shape of future collaboration between organizations and actors in government, academia, and industry. The Kenya National Innovation Agency must now initiate and develop appropriate policies to promote collaboration and mobilize resources to support innovators. And here, I also pledge that the government of Kenya, as I said earlier, we are processing a startup bill that will also help scale up and de-risk startups and give them the opportunity to grow into enterprises. Similarly, organizations representing commerce and industry, like the Kenya Association of Manufacturers and the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, must be encouraged to participate in these opportunities, especially in scouting innovations that deserve support from industry. Government is committed to do its part. First, we shall continue to support the development of necessary skills for developing demand-driven innovations, which are globally competitive. Second, we shall enhance policy to secure innovation, especially through the protection of intellectual property. And third, tertiary education institutions shall focus on business modeling, creation of enterprise, and commercialization of research outputs through joint ventures, spin-offs, and startups that create jobs, enhance incomes, and accelerate national development. We also have provided more than 500 facilities across Kenya to domicile innovation and incubation in Tibet's universities, private hubs, and donor-supported centers. What is needed is a strong coordinating mechanism, and I encourage the Kenya National Innovation Agency to move with speed and make this opportunity a reality. Gentlemen, I think you have your job very well cut out. In fact, the agency and the Ministry of Youth must now go ahead and create an ecosystem that efficiently converts every viable innovation into an enterprise and create mechanisms to provide support for risky yet highly potential enterprises. At the moment, the Global Innovation Index ranks Kenya at position number 87. We are determined to work smart and make Kenya the cradle of innovation technologies in all sectors. This will maximize our potential to realize sustainable development through shared prosperity and radical social-economic transformation. Today is a day of great promise. It is the beginning of our journey to transform Kenya into a globally competitive, modern and industrialized economy. The Kenya Innovations Week will anchor continuous discussion and robust achievements that will guide the development of innovation policies in our organizations. We therefore look forward to the growth of a robust national innovation system, and your presence here today matters, and your participation is essential. I made the decision that Kenya national holidays are now going to be themed going forward, and we started at the right place, at innovation and technology. And I have invited many of the technology leaders in the world to join us on our celebration so that together and with our young people, we can be able to have a conversation that informs our circumstances and our situation as a country, that which requires us to innovate, use technology to be able to drive not just our industrialization, our enterprise, even our agriculture and all sectors of our economy. The theme of the Kenya Innovation Week, Connect, Innovate, and Inspire, truly captures the journey we have embarked in the transformation of our country. I dare say, not even the sky is the limit. I now declare the 2022 Kenya Innovation Week officially open. And I want all of you guys to be engaged in this week all the way to Jamhuri so that we can truly celebrate our independence as we celebrate our independence from the challenges of our times. Asanteni sana, and may God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause to His Excellency, the President. Thank you. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, let's all be upstanding for the national anthem. Thank you. We remain standing as His Excellency makes his way. Thank you. Bendi tuendelee.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Tony Mwansa. I currently serve as the CEO of the Kenya National Innovation Agency. The Innovation Agency was established as a semi-autonomous government institution to develop and manage the national innovation system. Our measure of success is in terms of how many ideas and of what quality we're able to find their way to market. So about startups, commercialization, we talk about funding, policy, acceleration, incubation. Those are the issues that we primarily have to think about. Now, we realize that for a national innovation system to be, then it's just a matter. You have to know what is your baseline, what are your targets, and how do you evaluate the progress you're making nationally. Now, for you to measure and evaluate the progress you're making, you've got to get a certain set of indicators that you can measure and you try to collect data, and then you kind of like are able to quantify where you are in the progress. National innovation is cross-cutting. It's not one ministry issue. It's not like a sector. It's cross-cutting, and it has a set of inputs and a set of outputs. So if you're building infrastructure for facilities, those are going to help you. Those are inputs that help you develop the mission. And then people can use that infrastructure to develop solutions, which then they can take to market. So infrastructure is a classic example of something you want to measure. So do we have enough infrastructure? Population is always growing, so if the infrastructure that we had last year the same, and we need better infrastructure. So that's a classic example of something that led us to get to where we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like us to settle down so we can quickly move into the next phase of our program this afternoon. And in our first session, we will be having a panel discussion on Kenya's competitiveness in the global arena, looking at the progress and the prospects. And this particular session will be moderated by Dr. Watu Wamai. I'll just give you a brief background of Dr. Wamai. Meanwhile, those of you that are standing, I would like to request you to take your seats so we can quickly kick off. I'd also like to request the team from Kenya to help us bring some of the guests forward. We do have quite a lot of empty space at the front. Please help us bring some of our guests forward. If you've got some empty seats in front of you, please feel free to move forward. We'll just leave the very front row for the speakers. In the second row onwards, feel free to take up those seats so the speakers do not feel that they're speaking to empty seats. So I'd like to request you, if there's a seat in front of you, please move forward. Thank you for those that are moving forward. I'd like to now introduce our moderator for this next session, Dr. Watu Wamai, who has a PhD Economics of Innovation, is Research Engagement Manager and lead of the Health Innovation Platform at the Africa Oxford Initiative, that's AFOX, University of Oxford. The platform offers a unique interactive program focused on business know-how and strategy and venture building activity for a range of technology solutions. That's including diagnostics, devices, vaccines, and therapeutics. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Dr. Watu Wamai.
Thank you, Terry-Ann. It's my absolute pleasure to invite the U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Ambassador Meg Whitman, to join us and tell us about partnerships that are crucial for science and technology and transformation of the economy. As you know, Ambassador Megan has a wealth of experience at the Silicon Valley and has significant experience leading business organizations from startups
to large multinational companies in the Silicon Valley, and also a strong background in multinational information technology companies. And she was also president and CEO of eBay, and has a lot of insight on how to create an ecosystem that is well joined up, building blocks that make it well connected and that make it possible to become a driver of structural change and structural transformation. Please put your hands together for Ambassador Meg Whitman.
Well, good afternoon. I hope you're still being able to pay attention after such a long and packed day. So, as the moderator mentioned, what we were actually going to do is a little, what we call in Silicon Valley, a fireside chat, meaning it's not a prepared speech. She's going to ask me questions. You all can think of questions, and then there'll be some time at the end. And what I'd like to cover today is, what are the keys to innovation? Like, as you think about innovation, what are the most important dynamics to create an innovative economy, to be an entrepreneur, to get financing, and what leads to things like Silicon Valley, now Silicon Alley, New York, Silicon Beach in Miami, and the beginnings of what we call Silicon Savannah here in Kenya. So if that's all right with you all and all right with you, I'll just sit down and we'll have a very informal chat, which might be more interesting than a prepared set of remarks from me. All right?
Thank you very much. So we have a fireside chat, and we're going to focus and zero in on startups, as well as very strongly on the experience of Ambassador Whitman. Ambassador Whitman, the importance of building an ecosystem that drives creation of spin-outs and startups cannot be overstated. What are some of the non-negotiable building blocks that enable a vibrant?
Great. So think about a vibrant tech ecosystem for a moment. What are the most important elements of this? The first thing that I would say is you need connectivity, right? Basically, as many people as possible in a country need to be connected to the internet. Kenya is well on its way there, but still only about 50% of people in the country have connectivity to the internet. So building block number one is connectivity. Building block number two is big tech companies who are training the next generation of Kenyan entrepreneurs, Kenyan marketers, Kenyan digital enthusiasts. And here, Kenya is in a very good shape. You have here, obviously anchored by Safaricom and M-Pesa. M-Pesa is a remarkable company, absolutely remarkable company that has revolutionized payments, fintech, local banking, lending. These are two quite big companies, recently joined by Microsoft, recently joined by Google. What do these big companies do? They hire talent, they train talent, that then can be seeded to startups. In Silicon Valley, the original high-tech company was Hewlett-Packard, founded in 1939, was the grand dame or grandfather, whatever gender you'd like to have, and they hired and trained, created a workforce that then seeded Intel, that then seeded Cisco, and then each of those companies seeded the next generation of talent and the next generation of talent. So those big companies are incredibly important. The next thing that's very important is funding, financing. A group of investors that are willing to fund new startups. In Silicon Valley, it's called venture capital. Here again, Kenya is in very good shape relative to the rest of Africa. Kenya has the second highest level of venture capital investment next to Nigeria, but on a percentage of GDP basis, leading the pack of every country in Africa and growing faster. And the fourth crucial ingredient is institutions that also train young scientists, young engineers, young folks who want to work in the tech sector. And Silicon Valley is anchored by Stanford. And without Stanford, Silicon Valley would not be what it is. And so the question that I have asked since I arrived in Kenya on August 1st is, what is the Stanford of Kenya? And there is no universal agreement on that. In fact, some of the big universities here turn out only 100, 120 engineers a year. At full force, that has to be 500 engineers, 1,000 engineers, complemented by other universities, obviously, and then high school programs as well. And so this finding a great university, the Stanford, the MIT of Kenya is going to be very important. And I'll tell you why. Because when Stanford started churning out engineers, other schools in the United States said, wow, all their graduates are getting really good jobs. We ought to focus on engineering as well. So Harvard, Princeton, Carnegie Mellon, University of Miami, all of these schools got their programs involved in creating engineering programs. Today, the largest major at Stanford is computer science. The largest major at Harvard, Princeton, Yale, University of Miami is computer science, and all started by Stanford. So those are, I think, really the four most important building blocks, which I think Kenya is way ahead on too, has the others.
Thank you very much. I'll just pick up on the last one you mentioned about engineers and the experience of Oxford. In the previous session, we just had that 90% of startups in Kenya, following a study done by UNDP, are in STEM subjects. But in Kenya, we only train engineers. And of this, only 30% are women.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as I look at the possibilities in Silicon Savannah, which I am very excited about, I mean, Kenya should be the leader in tech in East Africa. Is probably the leader today in East Africa, should be the leader in the continent. And there's something that we call network effects. That once you start the ball rolling of venture capital, university startups, it's very hard for other people to catch up. Very difficult. So I think the biggest challenge for Kenya will ultimately be that there has to be more engineering students. By the way, not every job in tech do you need a degree. You can be a high school graduate and you can do all kinds of work in IT administration, quality assurance, those kinds of things. And so I do think this whole notion, I think there's going to be a giant tech shortage here in Kenya. By the way, there's a tech shortage today here, as also in overall in Africa. Google and Microsoft hired tech executives in the last couple of years. There's sort of an outcry. It's actually a very good thing because they pay very well. There will be more encouragement for young people to go into tech, but I think it's going to be the biggest issue. STEM for women, 30% is actually quite a good number here. I know that I have been the only woman in the room. I've been in tech for 20 years. I've been the only woman in the room for the majority of my career. And you have to start young with girls. At least in the United States, I don't know how it here is in Kenya. From K through 6, the girls are equal to the boys in science and math. Of course, there's no real engineering. But science and math, the girls are great through 6th grade. In the U.S., we lose a lot of girls in middle school. We lose a lot more girls in high school. We lose a lot more girls in college. So the idea of starting young, encouraging girls to, even if it's hard, listen, engineering is harder than some other disciplines. We just got to encourage girls. You can do it. The girls can do it. We just have to encourage them and keep that pipeline full. But unless you start early, you're going to end up at probably less than 30% in most of these technologies.
Thank you very much for that. And I'd like to pick up on a point you made, and thank you for raising it, about the global shortage of tech in the world. Because prior to this session, we had a president who is looking to turn Kenya into the global hub of tech, basically a tech economy. So we have our work cut out. We have all the support and needed billions put in place to create human resources. Now, I'll go to the second question, and this is about finance, because it's really a very tricky one. Access to cheap money to support what spin-outs and startups can be straight. Venture capital, at least in the case of Kenya, tends to focus on late-stage ventures, typically with 5 to 7 years exit strategy. What are your thoughts on what financing mechanisms work well for early stage?
Yeah. So very early stage technology, I'm talking technology that has a business plan but no product yet. This is difficult kind of company to finance, especially if you're a new entrepreneur with no track record. But it can be done on the strength of your business plan, the strength of the management team that you might have recruited. And this is called, in America, it's called seed capital. This is early stage. There's a group of what we call angel investors who are willing to take a bet on a great business plan but an unproven market. It can be done. There are seed investors, there are angel investors here in Kenya, and it is possible. You can also crowdsource for a business. Then you have a product. Then what the next level of financing is, they're looking for product market fit. Is there any evidence to suggest that the product that you have just developed has a market, a customer base that is buying months, that is a loyal customer base? That is venture capital. There's early stage venture capital investors and late stage venture capital investors. This is where the venture capital community in Kenya is actually doing quite well. There will be more over time. I think one of my jobs is to try to get some American investment to venture capitalists here in Kenya, and I think that can actually be done. Because what we have to do, having been the CEO of a Fortune 10 company in America, is Africa is not on the top of anyone's list. We need to tell the story of Africa and the story of Kenya in a much more compelling and consistent way than we have. And here's part of the answer to that question. Why Africa? In 2050, 1 in 4 people on Earth will live in the African continent. 1 in 3 people of working age will live on the African continent. This is the place of the future. We have to tell that story. We have to tell the story of M-Pesa. We have to tell the story of Twiga Foods. We have to tell the story of Copia. We have to tell the story of the venture capitalists who have made money here. And the other thing that we need in Kenya is we need some exits. We need some small companies, medium-sized companies, either go public or be bought by one of the big guys. And that will give everyone confidence.
Thank you very much. Now, in terms of the fact that large companies, how do companies innovate? Because it's one thing.
So innovation is a very interesting topic, and I think we all here on it. I have a couple of core beliefs about innovation. When you are, there are 2 kinds of innovators, to simplify it. There are 2 kinds of innovators, what I would call disruptive innovators and evolutionary innovators. A disruptive innovator is the entrepreneur who founded M-Pesa. A disruptive entrepreneur is someone who founded an Uber, an eBay, a PayPal. All these companies that created an entirely new marketplace or created an entirely new product or service. For example, eBay was the brainchild of a 26-year-old named Pierre Omidyar, who was actually in search of efficient markets. And when you were, say, trading collectibles in the US, there was no efficient market. You created a market where there was no market. You could trade without regard to time and distance. Basically, send money to someone across the country and get the product. It was an entirely new concept. That's what I call disruptive innovation. And this is done by a very small number of people. Disruptive innovators, I think, are less than 1% of the population. And when you find them, and when you fund them, it's absolutely miracle. By the way, very controversial, but one of that 1% is Elon Musk. Elon Musk created Solar City. Elon Musk created Tesla. Elon Musk created the entire electric vehicle market in the United States. Elon Musk was the founder of X.com, which was the predecessor to PayPal, which eBay bought in the early 2000s. very hard to do. When you find those people, if they work for your big company, you need to pay them a lot, you need to take care of them. It's very hard to find. But the bulk of innovation at most companies, particularly larger companies, is what I would call evolutionary innovation. How do you make your existing product better? Better every week, every month, every year. And the key there is how do you train, and by the way, this is a trained skill. You can train people to be disruptive innovators. I'm not sure you can train to be evolutionary innovators. I'm not sure you can train people to be disruptive innovators. But you can train them. So I think of the PC business. The PC business is, many years old now. How do you make those PCs more cost effective, more powerful, more useful every single year? PCs are probably of their life cycle, but there's still a lot of innovation left there. You think about servers, storage, networking. These all have incremental things that make them better every year. And